Hello, everybody. All right, so welcome to the Mikestand. Um, Today is Sunday, September the Sunday, September. Or I'm sorry, Sunday, August the 17th, 2025. So this is our weekly look at our weekly trip down Comics History Lane. Before I get too much into what we're going to be doing tonight, I'll pass it off to Metal. Metal, if you want to introduce yourself, maybe promote, share any links, promote any projects you're doing. I think you know the shtick, right?
Hi, I am the Metal. I have not been to neither Colombia in my life. That is a fact that is semi important to this stream. Anyway, I create a fictional, I guess, universe called X Dynamis Chaos. I have my own website. You can go check it, www. or xdynamischaos.com. Actually, you don't need those W's at all. And I put up comics and web novels and all kinds of stuff there that you can enjoy. You should check it out. You could get lost there for several hours, maybe. I don't know. I've never timed it. And I also semi-weekly or twice a week, that means the same thing. Host a show called actually, they have two different names. It's Super Serial Showtime and Game Central Junction on Mondays and Thursdays, respectively, over on the Vomitorium Live, where we talk about all kinds of fun stuff, movies, shows, films, and video games on their respective days. So, it's fun. You should go check that out. And that's about it. That's all I got.
All right. Well, and I did just share. I did just show the links for anybody. So if you guys want to go check that out. Also, for both my YouTube and my Rumble viewers, if you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people to engage, that'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here we talk about tonight grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and I will try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit about what's on tap for tonight. So tonight, we're going to take a trip through Columbia Comic Corporation. We're going to be specifically looking at Big Shot Comics Volume 1, Issue 4. We're going to be reading over features such as Skyman, The Face, maybe Rocky Ryan, Marvello the Magician. Since we're only doing the one comic tonight, we'll probably just read right through the book there a little bit. Still at a point where some companies were doing kind of a mix of the reprints from the newspaper comic strips and original stories. So we'll be focusing in on the original stories tonight. So as I said, one more time with the friendly reminder, if you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we get some more friendly people to engage, that'd be appreciated. Also, if anything grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I forgot to ask you this, Metal. Did you want to read or did you just want to commentate tonight?
That's a good question that I don't even know if I know the answer to. So let's just stick with commentary unless that changes.
All right. I do know you have read before if a particular character grabs your attention, and I welcome that too. If you find that there's a character you'd like that you want to do, then just let me know, and I'll have you read them. All right, so let's get into this then. All righty then. Oh yeah. So then get myself going here a bit. All right, so August 1940, Big Shot, number 4, 10 cents. See Big Shot right there with the with the guns there. America's finest comic features. Maybe I hit him too hard, Charlie. Yeah, Palooka. So you got Charlie Chin, Kid Gloom, Joe Palooka. In this issue, the Skyman, Marvello, Rocky Ryan, plus a complete daring fiction story of The Face. Guaranteed
No,
for
I think
go
I
ahead.
need to point something out, just in case people don't know this that are watching or listening, right? Because the company is called Columbia, and some people might think like, why would an American company name their comic company Columbia? But what some people just don't know is that Columbia was one of the original nominated names for the country to be named after Christopher Columbus. That's why there's also another country called Columbia, and it's why our capital is known as the District of Columbia. And even the Spirit of America was originally called the Spirit of Columbia. And it's kind of like a name that's disappeared over the years. And many younger people, or even just people who don't know anything about history, have no clue that name is associated with our country at all, especially
Well,
because
because
Washington,
I think,
D.C. is just
and
called D.C.
yeah, I think one of the things you pointed out that at the beginning there too was that Columbia is associated with Christopher Columbus, who was somewhat credited with founding America, even though the naming of America was not, was obviously not based on him. It was based on another explorer who was coming over around that time, Americo Vespucci.
Yes, but both of them were up in the air, right, for our country specifically.
Right.
And we decided to go with America ultimately, especially because like Columbus never stepped foot on the mainland. The closest he got was the Florida Keys, but he never actually stepped onto Florida. Those were later explorers, but that's why our capital and another country in South America happened to share the same name, and we were actually going to use the name first.
Yeah. Well, obviously, though, there are two different spell. Like here in the States, in the English version, it's Columbia. The Spanish version, I believe, it's Colombia. So in terms of the spelling of it, so
Yeah, but they come from the same root.
right, Columbus. Well, and aside from that, of course, even though our country was not named Columbia or Columbus, we have numerous cities throughout our country named. Well, actually, there's also, of course, up in Canada there too, right?
Yeah.
The westernmost province, British Columbia. There's British Columbia in Canada. There's a number of Columbias here, including Columbia, South Carolina, Columbia, Georgia, or I guess Columbus, Georgia, Columbia, Ohio, or Columbus, Ohio. Yeah, so we have a number of Columbia or
And
Columbia,
again, the most important is the capital of the entire nation.
District of Columbia. Yeah. All right. So anything more you want to add to that before
No,
we
I
head?
just wanted to point that out.
All right. That's a very interesting point to point out. All right. So it's in the Europe here. Guaranteed for greater thrills. Big Shot Comics, Joe Palooka, The Skyman, Rocky Ryan, The Bungles, Tom Carey, Charlie Chan, Spy Chief, Dixie Dugan, Jimmy Jones, Marvello, The Face. 10 cents at all newsstands. Buy your copies now. Now, for those of you who may not understand, because obviously they're not, we don't see them around anymore, but long before comic book shops, right? You get, you'd walk the streets of the cities, right? They'd have what they call newsstands. They'd be like little kiosks where you go and you can buy any kind of, you can buy your newspapers, you can buy magazines, comics, any kind of periodical. That's where the term newsstand comes from, because it's basically like a little cart kiosk kind of thing that you go and you buy your periodicals from. So another little interesting tidbit.
Yeah. Well, the sad part is a lot of places still have them, just not so much here in the States.
Yeah. Yeah, I think in one of the malls near my house, I think the Buena Park Mall, I think the Buena Park Mall, I think, may have one or two of them in there, like
Oh,
in
that's
the
cool.
mall itself. A kind of a what you might call a kiosk or a newsstand kind of thing. But
You know how much that comic would be worth today? You'd have to
um,
pay $2.31 to get that same comic.
not bad compared to some of the other comics that are out there right now.
Oh yeah, like Marvel's trying to
Selling for
make you
like
pay
five,
$5 for them
$6
for less pages.
Yeah, for less pages, because these ones were like 64 pages, 64 to 70, 65 to 70 pages.
It's
You know,
on newsprint, which kept it cheap.
mm-hmm.
It's this new glossy paper that they use as an excuse to upcharge, even though they could probably still charge like $1 or $2 less and be fine.
Mm-hmm. Buy your copies now. The Sky Man by Paul Dean. Already legendary in the land of his birth, the USA, the Sky Man has built about himself the aura of greatness. Because of his mighty strength, great scientific genius, and keen sense for um, ferreting out crime, Clifftown Dam breaks wide open, spreading destruction on all sides. John, help me! Oops. I didn't even realize. All right, let me try that again. Didn't realize that was a woman there. John, help me. Mary, I can't. Daddy, Mother. A flood in Fertile Cliff Valley. I must get there to see what I can do. They'll need food, supply, shelter. I must warn the Red Cross. Even before the radio flashes news of the disaster. Let's see. My notice of the flood is encased in that cylinder. Okay. That ought to get results. Okay,
I don't know. That seems a pretty inefficient way of getting results to people.
Uh-huh. The message is received. Clifftown Dam burst. The waters are flooding the valley. The wing races west. As he reaches Clifftown Valley, the Sky Man sees an airplane. Oh, help me. Fixing the robot controls of the wing by means of the machine to stabilizer, he leaps. Catch hold of my hand. Hang on while I climb this rope. Oh, I will. You'll be all right. but I have to leave you to help other unfortunates. Other
Like,
unfortunates. Kind of an interesting way of saying it, huh?
eh, I think it probably was common at one point, but
Yeah.
I'm fixed on something else, right? Because there's implications about the narrative world we're in from when he dropped that note in the cylinder, and I'm just thinking like we're in a world where people are just used to Skyman being around, I guess, right? So it's like they see his plane pass over by, looking out the window, and they're like, "Oh, great, Skyman flew by. Now we have to send somebody up to the roof in case he left a message on our building." Of all of them,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, we've kind of picked apart some of the I guess thought processes of some of these writers, right?
yeah,
We
yeah.
we
Which I'm
we
not saying like in world that doesn't make sense or anything, right? Because like if you're used to Skyman, he is very recognizable plane. You would know how he works, right? It's just like,
uh
can you imagine being the gopher that has to go up and get it? You're like, Skyman again. And this is my job. At least I'm not down in the mailroom for once, but I have to go all the way up to the roof.
Well, obviously, if he was down in the mailroom, he might not have even seen the plane possibly because if I
They're
understood
usually
correctly, back
underground.
then the mailrooms would have been like in the basement or something like that.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. But he may not even be the one that saw it, right? Like if his job is the gopher, there might be somebody just like ringing a bell in the building, right? And it's like, I have a guess at what I got to do.
Yeah. All right. So, anyways, as we continue on here, unless there's anything more you wanted to say about what we've read thus far.
No, no, no. Just I'm enjoying the ridiculousness of this world already.
Okay. Help us! Mercy on us! Help! The Skyman prepares to aid other helpless people. Okay, I don't know. I wouldn't say that. Well, I guess if it's flooding, yeah, but
Yeah, where are they going to go? They're stuck on a roof.
yeah.
And they might dehydrate. You know, that's actually the biggest problem in a flood. Even if you can get away from the water, there's no clean water to drink. So you could just be on a roof getting hit by the sun and dehydrating. Like you want to take care of people as fast as you can.
Okay, yeah, I get that. Okay, now I understand why they're considered helpless. And thank you for that, Metal.
Yeah, this is like a real concern in floods. That's why like you have to get the Red Cross boats and everything out there as soon as possible.
Actually, I know you're from Texas. I don't know from where you were in Texas. Was flooding more common? Is that why maybe you're more?
No, no, flooding is more common down in like Houston. I was up in the DFW area. Specifically, I spent most of my life in Cedar Hill, and already Dallas Fort Worth is the highest elevation in Texas, having like an average of 600 feet above sea level. The city I was in was called Cedar Hill because it was even higher. That's where they put all the radio and cell towers in for the entire area. And we averaged about 800 feet above sea level. So everything was downhill from where I was. But my front yard would catch a lot of water and flood, but the stuff you could wade through knee deep at most. We never had actual flooding in that area.
Hmm. All right, so put these preservers about your waist. Then hang on. So I guess he's gonna pull them up by the preserver then, huh? The looks of it.
Well, I mean, that'd be the way to do it, right? Because since it catches underneath your armpits, it's not like somebody can fall out. It's designed for that exact reason. They hoist people up the
Well,
ship.
unless you do something foolish like put your arms up like this.
Yeah, maybe for a more slender woman or something. I feel like for a man, it would be really hard to slip through a preserver that way. Like, I know that's how some people get in, but you have to try to get in. It's even harder to get out that way. Usually just let it fall down.
Yeah. All right. All right. So the rescued people speculate on their rescuer. Who is this man? Who helps us? Who helps us? Look, the plane doesn't move. My cabin is full now. I'll set you people down on dry land, then return. God bless you, sir, and may he reward you. Now, you look at that, right? That would probably not go over too well in current, at least in the mainstream, current comicdom. The fact that you actually have somebody, actually thanking God for something, right?
Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think it depends, right? Like, I think you could still get by that in like a modern Superman story or something, just because of the type of hero that Superman is, and the readers of it be like, yeah, it makes sense that some random person might like thank God or something. Um, but
But
yeah, a lot of them,
probably
especially
more like God bless you, sir, and may he reward. I mean, that's a bit more like this guy's a legit Christian saying this. Because a lot of people will say, "Yeah, bless you" or "God bless you," right?
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's the extent of where like, and he reward you or stuff. I don't think you'd see that half in there. Like, I could see somebody in modern one still saying "God bless Superman," right? For sure. I don't think they would continue the rest of that phrase.
right. That's where I was going with it, though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Except maybe somebody like Rick who actually does a lot of Christian based comics. You
Well, I think
know,
you'd probably see it a lot more in the indie sphere in general, but
yeah,
probably not at the big ones. Definitely not at Marvel. Marvel, you'd be lucky for somebody to even mention the name God.
yeah, yeah. Setting the people on land, the Skyman takes off again. Good luck. Let's see. Good luck and heaven bless you. I'm just checking real quick because Rumble, I have to check periodically to see if anybody's not commenting because the Rumble comments won't show up on here because just how it's
Yeah.
connected.
Though, actually, I have to take that back a little bit. I think it still also depends on who we're talking about. Because while it still was a while back now, it was more than a decade ago, in the Avengers movie, when they were talking about like Thor being a god going after his brother who is also a god.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Nick Fury, I think it was Nick who was saying it, or maybe it was Coulson. I can't remember. One of them was telling him like, you don't want to get involved with this. They're gods. Captain America said, "There's only one God, and he doesn't dress like that." So I think it does depend on who the character is. That some people might still do that, but
Yeah. Well, I was just one of the other things I would that when we're talking about Marvel too. I know for a long time Nightcrawler
oh
was
yeah,
known
devout
for
Catholic.
for being
Yeah,
Catholic, but I if I
they've kind of
heard
taken that away from him.
that's what I was getting at. I thought I heard something that maybe currently they've retconned that out of his life. His Catholic faith and all that. Keep your chin up. I'll be down there at once. Okay, mister. This is a rescue a la cowboy. You got what it takes. I'd like to get those guys that started this flood. You mean the men who caused the dam to burst?
Well, I think he's asking, you mean men caused this dam to burst? Like he thought it was just a natural
Oh,
occurrence until somebody said guys started it.
oh. You mean men causes the dam to burst? Right. Give me your wet clothes and tell me what you know about this flood. I was up there on the dam walking along. The boy tells his story. Get away. Hmm. Get away, you. The dam's going down. Hey, don't you dare do that. Help! They're going to dynamite the dam. Then the dynamite exploded, and I was thrown into the air. I swam and swam, Then you came along. Gee, mister, I can't ever thank you enough. I've got to find out what's behind this dam explosion. Where do you think those men went? There's only one road from the dam. They have to be on that. See, there it is. Lo, over the road, the wing races. The dam exploded less than an hour ago. Oh, actually, maybe the boy. Oh, the dam exploded less than an hour ago. They couldn't get off the road in that length. Well, maybe it was okay. I'm going to jump when we sight them. Don't touch the controls. The wing will circle slowly and return to me. I won't touch a thing. The wing passes the car, and the Skyman jumps. You notice how they call him the Skyman, not just simply Skyman.
Yeah, because he's the man in the sky. He's the sky man.
Now you murdering whelps. It's the Skyman. It's the Skyman. You two are going to pay dearly for blowing up that dam. Not us. Not us. Don't lie to me. You two blew up that dam. We'll we'll tell you. The driverless car careens off the road. You bet your sweet life you'll talk, and how. Wow, can you just get how volatile and dark some of these comics were back then?
Yeah, and the fact that like you talk about the fear that it must put into somebody that you're going off the road, off the cliff with them, but you show absolutely no sign of hesitation whatsoever. And it's like, this is not a problem for me. It's a problem for you.
As the car starts downward, the rope from the wing, just in time. He's pretty strong there.
Well, he's built like Clancy Ross, you know? He's like a 1940s bodybuilder over here.
All right, for those of us who don't know who Clancy Ross is, would you like to enlighten us?
I gave you all the information that you need about that. He was a 1940s bodybuilder, back during the silver era of bodybuilding.
Lou Ferrigno or Arnold Schwarzenegger, basically.
Yeah. But back when everybody was like all natural, but they were still built like a horse.
Yeah. The Skyman makes a flying leap for the rope. It's so near, and yet so far away. Iron fingers seize the rope. Iron fingers.
Yeah.
I wonder what that feels like.
Oh, I could tell you.
What, you've actually had iron fingers before?
Oh, no. In martial arts, there are techniques that you might call like iron finger and stuff like that. And it hurts to train, and it hurts just as much when somebody uses it on you. But there's a lot of things like iron palm, all things about it. Anytime they use iron like that, they use it in the same metaphor that would be used here, even though they're using it distinctly. And it's just to say that like you're training that part of your body to be as hard or as strong as iron.
Right. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Made it now to climb the rope using only one arm. Now that would be quite amazing.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know how you. Well, no, I could think about it. To climb a rope using one arm, you'd have to have like an iron grip like that. Which, if you built like a bodybuilder. Grip strength is the most important strength you can have, and it's not even attached to your muscles, but it's also what helps you build your muscles more, right? Because grip strength is your ligaments and joints. But if you have a good grip on there, what you'd have to do is you'd have to basically swing your arm around to wrap it around the rope until you can grab higher, let go, grab that part, and then repeat the process over and over again.
What I was more thinking of how you would do that, because I was thinking not only would you need grip strength, but you'd need incredible reaction speed too. Because
Oh yeah, yeah.
I,
And just in general upper body strength.
what I would think you'd do is, okay, so you got the rope like this, right? You like pull yourself up real quick and do that.
See, the problem with that though is as quick as you think you could go, you're going to fall faster than you gain, right? What you'd have to do is you'd have to basically grab the rope, like I said, wrap around until it's basically under your elbow, and then you grab a higher point of the rope, and you repeat this process over and over again.
Okay.
Which climbers actually do sometimes when one of their arms is occupied.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Anyways,
and you can do that when the rope is loose, which is there. It's just a dangling rope.
All right. As we continue on, then this guy's got the strength of 10 bull elephants. Yeah, I heard he was strong, but gee whiz. Save your breath, boys. You're going to need it. Those men, Bobby? They're the ones, all right. Yeah. Removed from imminent danger, the men wax scornful. Now talk. No, we won't, and you can't make us either. But soon feel like talking again. You won't talk. Then goodbye. No, we were joking. Don't drop us. There's a classic move from that time period. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, you guys don't want to talk? Let me drag you over to this ledge here. Yeah, look down. You see how far down that is? You want an instant trip? Right?
Oh yeah. Batman still pulls that move, and people fall for it because like criminals don't know Batman doesn't kill. Like he might drop us for all we know.
Well, what was it that his dad once said? That what Thomas Wayne once said? Criminals are a
superstitious bunch.
Superstitious and cowardly bunch.
Yes, yeah.
Or superstitious and cowardly lot.
Yeah. But also bringing up Batman, because you were pointing out the whole the Skyman thing. I like that they call him the Skyman. In early Batman comics, they called him the Batman too, and there's a bunch of heroes that were like that. I think if you get your name basically as an urban legend, you should have the in front of your name. Most people would call you that because you were an urban legend. I feel like the reason it dropped from Batman in most cases, unless you do like a redo origin thing like the Batman movie, is because he stopped becoming like a urban legend and became like a member of the Justice League and stuff like that. But when you really play into like this hero is an unknown figure that people know of, but nobody knows him personally. He's not personable with anyone. You should have that the in front of it, almost like a cryptid. Like in Texas, we have the Goat Man, who was like a half man, half goat thing, right?
So based on what you're saying there, then what you think is the reason why it's good for them to call him the Skyman. It's more. It adds more, or like how they used to call Batman the Batman.
It makes it more of like a living
It
myth.
adds more to the mystique of the character.
Yes. Right? Like early on, it would make sense to even say, look, it's the Superman, but nobody really said that, right? But that's because Superman, even though he was like a god flying around, basically, he'd always be like down and personable with people, even from the early era, right? Like he would help you get your cat out of the tree and talk to the kids. So you wouldn't put that the in front of him. He feels like a normal person,
Yeah,
just a super powerful
Superman
one.
wasn't as much an urban. I mean, he was pretty.
Yeah.
Even in the Golden Age, he was pretty.
Yeah. Like
public.
he'd come down and do a press conference, just because like he was a friend of the people.
Yeah, albeit sometimes, if you look back to some of his Golden Age stories, sometimes he didn't necessarily act nice like he would later. I mean, he would Superman would even be pulling some of the stuff we're seeing here, where he would like kind of dangle a person in the open air and say, "Well, should I drop you or not?"
Yeah, of course. But it's like he got his name for the same reason, though. Like if the papers first put the Superman, he was just so personal that nobody ever said the when talking about him, right? As opposed to like another urban legend character, you have the Spider-Man, who even in his later theme songs would even say, "Here comes the Spider-Man," right? And criminals might even say, "Look, it's the Spider-Man."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting stuff. All right, so should we continue on here? We were hired by Hiram Delver to blow up the dam. He said the Clifftown Valley people wouldn't sell their homes to him. Keep conversing, gentlemen. This is getting mighty interesting. He wanted some mines that surveyors told him are hidden under the valley, topsoil. If the people wouldn't sell, he couldn't buy. Well, basically that means that he was trying. This Hiram Delver character was wanting to buy the property, so he'd have free reign to look for those mines.
Oh yeah.
Some men will do anything for money, Bobby. They'll lie, cheat, steal, even murder. I think Hiram Delver's day of reckoning has finally come. He blew up the dam to get those iron mines, didn't he? I always keep these handcuffs on tap in case I run into rats like you. What are you going to do to us? After parachutes are attached to the men, they are tossed out over the state police patrol station. Wow, that's got to be something.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard to open a parachute with your hands cuffed.
Yeah, I because I've seen that before too. I've seen people get tossed out with with parachutes attached to them, but either they're somehow bound or unconscious and can't seem to open. But yet I've seen in some some cartoons where sometimes the parachutes will just open on their own without somebody pulling.
Yeah, that's because they can't get away with not having the parachute open up due to the rating bureau. But you could, if your hands were cuffed in front of you, it is possible to open a parachute that way. It'd still be hard as heck trying to get the ripcord from the right angle, right? But honestly, the safest way to do this would to already have the parachute deployed, but like balled up in their arms when you toss them out, because you wouldn't want it loose. It'd get caught into like the plane's propeller or something immediately. but just like have it already like in their arms.
And then a very messy death would follow.
Yes, but if it's already like bundled in their arms, like trying to hold a big blanket as they fall, it's going to come out of their arms anyway, especially because they're handcuffed. It'll deploy ish sort of. There's still a chance that they might not ever catch the wind and they might fall, but it's a better shot possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So. See you in jail, gentlemen. I'll find Hiram Delver at his mountain lodge, far away from this flood, of course. Of course.
Yeah, but it's like you don't need a lot of force to open a parachute, right? You just need to be able to grab the ripcord. So if their handcuffs are their hands are cuffed in front of them, if they can bring it up to the shoulder, which on those older models is about where the ripcord's going to be on the strap, and as long as they can grab it, they just need just enough force to pull it out of the socket because it's kind of like a single release mechanism. And once that edge is tripped, then it should deploy. So I don't think it's the worst thing. It's still just a horribly anxious situation where if the person doesn't calm themselves and think, yeah, they could still die.
All right. So anyways, as we, of course, continue on with the story here. All right. The wing taxis to a halt on an open field. The Skyman investigates the mountain lodge. Here he is, safe and sound, and those poor people dying in Clifftown. Yeah, the writing here on this is pretty, because it's almost like they are trying to more like emphasize. It seems like in the writing here they are trying to emphasize the fact that this guy's nice and safe and comfortable.
Yeah.
While he's causing people to be hurt far away, right?
Yeah. I like the narrative structure of it though. I like the narration and everything.
He does not notice a hammer suspended above him. Well, this is an easy entrance. Yeah, maybe a little too easy. The hammer falls as the Skyman steps through the door. What's that old saying? When something looks a little too good to be true, it usually is.
Yeah.
Huh. Look, a man! The hammer must have hit him. Who is he? Don't know. Looks like a man. I've heard tales of the Skyman. It's the Skyman. He came here after me. He discovered I blew up that dam. I've got to get rid of him. Carry him, that's it. And don't breathe a word of this to anyone. We know enough not to, Mr. Delver. Look there, his plane. Carry him to it. Set him here in the chair. I'll cook his goose for him. Cook his goose. When was the last time you heard that phrase?
I heard somebody say it in real life like 2 years ago.
Well, that's kind of what I meant.
Yeah.
My point being, that's not really a phrase you hear a lot of anymore.
No, they were talking about like a legal case too. I'm trying to remember what one it was, but it was more. It wasn't cook his goose. It was the slightly more common variation. His goose is cooked, but right. I did hear it not that long ago.
Yeah. When you awake in the air, my good man, and find yourself bound and helpless to prevent a crash, you will rue the day you came for Hiram Delver. Bobby is hidden in the plane. Oh, he's hurting the Skyman. Who spoke? Oh boy. Kid should have kept quiet. Wouldn't know it helped the Skyman, if he kept quiet. You little brat, spying on me, were you? You leave the Skyman alone. You killer. So ho! He knew I blew up the dam. Well, that knowledge won't do either of you any good. Delver fixes a cord about the Skyman's throat. When you recover consciousness and move, this cord will choke you to death. Setting the controls of the wing, Delver leaps to safety. Adieu, Skyman. The Skyman opens dazed eyes. I'm bound, gagged, a cord around my throat. Instead of moving forward, he flings himself backwards. The cord about his throat loosens. Now to get free and control the wing. So that's kind of interesting. Instead of pulling forward and pulling on the cord, tightening the cord, he actually moved back to loosen it.
Yeah, I'm just like questioning that part of the plan in general. Like, who on Earth would pull forward?
Well, depending upon what your level of consciousness is too. Because before he even moved, he became aware of what the situation was. I mean, if all of a sudden, you might wake up and you just might naturally move forward or whatever, but he didn't even move. So finding his bonds too tough, he steers the wing with bound hands. If I could get loose, Bobby. How get you free in a jiffy after you loosen these strings? Now I'm really going into action, Bobby. No delicacy this time. What are you going to do, Skyman? The Skyman drops to the attack. I fixed the robot controls, Bobby. Bobby, here I go. Good luck. There's a window. I've got to enter. The Skyman leaps. Here I come, ready or not. And crashes through the window. Below, in Hiram Delver's house. What was that? Glass. A glass pane fell out. Ain't no storm. I'll go and see. The volunteer meets with a warm reception. I assume you're one to delivers. You're one of Delver's men, so you'll go down to tell him I'm here. The Skyman vaults the stairs. Look at that scene right there of him vaulting the stairs, huh?
Yeah.
On second thought, I'll tell him myself. And appears in the living room as one returned from the dead. It can't be. The Skyman. Yeah, he's dead. We saw him aboard that plane. Well, I'm not dead, but you fellows may soon be. Help! Let go, or I'll pull you apart. No, no! The Skyman rips the entire door off its hinges. I have you now. Let me go! He takes his captives wingward. Keep moving. Thence to the nearest police station. Be golly, I've heard of ye, but never expected to lay me eyes on you. These are the men who blew up the Clifftown Dam. See that they get what's coming to them. Bobby is deposited with his happy family. Delver will pay for the for the damage he's done. As for the lost lives, they can't be restored. Thank you a million for saving Bobby. Add a father's gratitude to that, Skyman. Gee, Ma, you should see him in action. Homeward bound, the flood under control, the blame in the proper place. Watch each issue of Big Shot Comics for the thrilling experiences of the Skyman, America's national hero. Boys and girls, write in and tell me what further Skyman adventures you would like to read. Address your letters to Skyman, care of Columbia Comic Corporation, 369 Lexington Avenue, New York City. Don't fail to read the thrilling, action-packed story of the Skyman every month in Big Shot Comics. All right, so with that first story being finished, what's up, Mike? Hey there, old streetlights. Thanks for dropping in and saying hi. Hopefully you're enjoying the show thus far. We're reading the stories here. You see? All right. Of course, friendly reminder to everybody. You guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream. See if we can get some more friendly people to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So, with that being said, before we move on to the next story, Metal overall impressions.
Let me think about that. I don't like his costume design, but aside from that, I think the story was pretty fun. I like the concept of the character, especially during the time, right? Because given that this is right or within the Second World War period, that fighter pilots were like the heroes that everybody looked up to. So it would make sense thematically that the Skyman is who they're trying to sell as America's hero. This guy who's a pilot who goes around everywhere and just kind of like helps people as he sees need. That's kind of cool. The biggest thing I don't like is the little leather knobs on his cowl. It is kind of like, it's weird. It's a cowl, but it's also supposed to somewhat be like a flight cap, like for like an old fighter pilot helmet. So I get why they have like the leather knobs on there. I just don't think it works with the blue. And I don't like his logo because his logo is clearly supposed to be a propeller. Like I get that looking at it, but because it's black on yellow, it also kind of looks like a danger radioactive signal when you're looking at it at a glance.
Oh. Yeah, I guess I can see your point.
Yeah.
They're trying to sell him as a hero, yet they're giving a sign that clearly he's a danger. But then again, sitting at points in the story, he did act kind of like a danger because he was like ready to just let guys drop without a parachute,
Yeah.
like off of his wing, off of the building, what have you, you know. So
Yeah,
uh,
and they couldn't think about that because for conflict's sake. Um, at that point in time, we were only just learning about radioactivity, so it's not like that symbol was commonplace. So it's like nobody looking at this at the time that it came out is going to confuse his propeller symbol for that. But retroactively speaking, at a glance, it's a very confusing icon.
well, unless you have at least, unless you of course have some idea of the character and all that,
Mm-hmm.
like you know.
But I think, yeah, my biggest problem with this is just his design as a character. But the actual execution of what's going on in the story is pretty good.
So you like the storytelling and all that. You just don't like the character design.
Yeah, more or less.
All right. And what about the artwork?
Oh, the artwork's pretty good, especially even like that second to last panel right there as he's going into the sunset. Like, I thought the artwork's fine. It's more than serviceable.
All right. All right. So let's get ready to move on to um, the next story here. Actually, in fact, before I do that, I'm gonna get to the story, and then I'm gonna need to step away from the computer for a moment. Of course, Joe Palooka right there. Of course, we won't do the reprints today. The face will be the next um, comic we'll read. But before we do that, Metal, if you can talk to the chat for a moment, I do need to step away for a moment. I'll be right back. You can kind of
Okay.
talk to the chat,
Hello,
entertain them a bit.
chat. How you doing? How you doing? I don't really have much to say. We read a single story so far, so um, that's about it. I guess I could say what's going on with me, which of projects that I've been bringing back up is I've restarted within the Underpass, my Newgrounds podcast, where I interview creators on Newgrounds. You can go find that over there. But soon, in a regard similar to the type of stuff we're reading today, I hope to have a script done for a radio play for the Skull Spectre character I created that I will record and edit myself. So maybe I'll share that out whenever it's done. I don't know how long that's going to take. But, trying to keep busy. Trying to keep busy as always. Almost entirely trying to keep so busy that I don't have to do the comic pages that I should be doing. It's a problem when you want to do so many different things and you're like, I really should be putting out more pages to my webcomic, but also I could be doing this. Well, functionally, I think I should just be a writer, work with other people. I never get tired of writing. I get tired of doing everything else. But apparently, we're moving into the Face next. This is another character that I am not familiar with at all. But I guess Columbia is a production house, is one that I'm typically not familiar with outside of the characters that were reprints in here from like the newspapers. So I don't even know what type of character the Face is. I'm guessing we're going to learn.
And that's a big part of why I'd like to do this show is learning a little bit more about some of these different companies and the universes they created, right? Right,
Yeah,
Middle?
I guess. I just don't know if I want to learn.
Well, it's one reason. It's not the only reason, obviously, but it's one reason. All right, so let's move on to the next story here. The Face by Michael Blake. And look at that face. Look at his. I guess his. That's a scary face.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. The green one's kind of bad too.
I was talking about the green one, but something tells me you knew that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway, Tony Trent. Oh, did you want to do it? Did you want to do any? Did you want to do any reading here, or do you want to still do commentary?
Nah, just stick to commentary.
All right. Tony Trent, radio commentator of station WBSC, is also the Face, whose gruesome mask brings an involuntary shudder to anyone who beholds it. This fact is unknown to all except Babs Walsh, Tony's secretary, who is now attending a social function on behalf of the station WBSC. Suddenly, in the gay hubbub, a shot rings out. Now, okay,
This is the old use of the word gay, meaning merry or happy.
Right. Just so we're clear on that, obviously the term gay had a much, or well, the more common usage of the word had a much more different meaning than it does today, obviously. I mean,
Oh, yes. Well, I mean, the modern meaning does go back to back then. It was just seldomly used, or it was used in almost like a, I guess, ironic sense. If it was for that, for the most part, it was a synonym for merry. Kind of like how
right,
eventually with the Flintstones, where they say they'll have a gay old time.
right. Oh, really. So Bertram, he's been killed. While standing in the doorway, observing the killing, is the Face. Sir Bertram was a Scotland Yard man. Why was he killed? I must watch the grounds for the killer. Eee! Look! Oh, look! The Face again entering a window. That's right. Get back from that body. The Face stops and rifles the pockets of the corpse. So, just for context, what in this particular case, what does rifle mean?
Oh, rifle basically means to like shift around or dig through.
Right. Again, probably not as used quite as commonly today in language that it was back then. Stay where you are. Stay where you are, all of you. He's gone. Call the police. Her face, Tony Trent. But why? Oh, mystery. He didn't kill Sir Bertram. On the grounds of the estate. I had to scare those people to keep them indoors. And besides, maybe I'll find a clue to the killer from these papers. A criminal file and on Snatch Scully and an optometrist calling card. Wonder what connection they have. The face nears a strange creaking horse and whirls. Or strange creaking noise and whirls. What's that? I'll soon find out. The face glimpses the killer, but in the dark he misses his target. The murderer. And the murderer escapes. I'll get you yet. Try it. Twice in a row I missed. My eyes must be getting weak. I think I'll drop in and see that optometrist whose card I found in Sir Bertram's pocket. Any thoughts thus far?
Yeah, I'm just trying to like make heads or tails of this character because he's given me almost like a Green Hornet type vibe where he's like trying to do good things by pretending to be like a scary bad guy in a way, just to be able to control things through like fear or pressure.
Sometime later, at Dr. Frederick Nillian's eye hospital, it's an odd hour to see an eye doctor, so I'll be quiet. The face ransacks the optometrist's card index. Sabal Skarner Scully, and finds the eye records of one Horace Percival Scully. With a name like that, he shouldn't have been a crook. Let's see now his eye prints.
I don't know, man. That seems pretty prejudiced of you. Why do you think a name is why he shouldn't be a crook? You think like, oh, he must have come from a really nice family. You know that some of the dirtiest people I know come from nice families.
Yeah. Maybe that's why he calls himself Snatch Scully.
Yeah.
Could be, right? No wonder Sir Bertram had this optometrist card in his pocket. Eye prints are an even better method of identifying criminal than fingerprints. I don't know. You think that's true of the case?
I don't know. That's really rough, especially given the technology available at the time. Like obviously, for certain levels of security, people use like eye scanners and stuff because you do have a very unique look to your retina, right? Retina scans and everything. Though you do have to update those about as often as fingerprints because of the change in your body. But it's just like the limited technology to be able to actually get a clear shot of your retina at that time. Like it'd be easier to identify somebody with a fingerprint. Maybe today, but then like where do you actually leave clues of your retina? You don't actually leave a print anywhere. Somebody has to like scan it directly, or maybe you take a photo. You leave your fingerprints everywhere. So even with like modern technology, we could just get more out of people's fingerprints than trying to look for something else.
Right. A criminal may tamper with his fingerprints, but he won't dare tamper with his eyes.
Yeah, but like, when does he need to? Like, why would you need to tamper with your eyes?
Well, if you ever find somebody who's trying, you should probably ask him.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back at the optometrist, I'll get them records and burn them. They're gone, my eye records. I'll bet Sir Bertram got them. I've got to get back to his body and search it. Snatch Scully is out for blood in order to protect himself. But if somebody else has him, then the Lord help him. He arrives at the scene of his crime. Nobody's sending me back to England for the murder call. Sir Bertram was after me, but I don't I done I'm in now. I can destroy those eye tests they took of me. Inside the mansion, it was the face, wasn't it, Miss Walsh? He he didn't do it. All he did was take some papers from Sir Bertram. He didn't kill him. I'll have to report it. I'll have to report it. Maybe he killed for money. Oh, that's ridiculous. He. What's that noise? You say you heard footsteps from behind the fireplace? Impossible. It's solid stone. But I tell you, I did. The face expects Scully's next move and is lying in wait. When I heard the creaking noise before Scully came from who's that? Snatch appears creeping toward the house. He fumbles in the shrubbery and the chimney swings open. This is the best way to get in the way I got out. The face decides to follow him. Snatch opened the chimney by doing something on the ground. Ground here. I've got to find what he did. A good thing a fellow who helped build this place, he tipped me off about the secret passage. A copper and a dame. Snatch, Scully, sees Babs and the detective. Stick him away. Stick him away up, and don't let a peep out of yous. What the? Where's the papers that were on him? Come on, spit it out. The face took them.
This guy sounds like he's from Jersey. That's how my parents would talk.
Oh, you mean? Well, I don't even know what a Jersey accent sounds like. I'm not like. But you're saying
No. I'm not listening necessarily to what you're saying. I'm listening to the words, right, and the way they're writing his accent, and like the way this guy's speaking, he sounds just like he's from Jersey.
I ain't got no time for kidding, lady. Who's the face? The face is there he is. That's an old gag, lady. I'm supposed to fall for it and turn around. Now say your prayers. You're both gonna die. Suppose you say your prayers, snatched Scully. Huh? God! Wait, a face? Oh, it's horrible. Not so horrible as you're going to look unless. Snatch moves swiftly. Yeah, well, you don't stop me so easy. Not so fast. Oof! I know all about you, Snatch. You are fleeing from a murder charge in England. Sir Bertram was after you. He knew your eye prints. You killed him to keep your identity a secret. You'll find all that information in these papers I borrowed from Sir Bertram. You see, I interfered because as I came in the doorway, I saw the chimney open and snatch fire at Sir Bertram. Gosh!
Man, this whole guy, like this entire plot is just a waste because it's like this dude put himself on the line to go steal information that nobody's ever going to get him on.
Hmm. I think the face is finished for the evening, so I'll appear as Tony Trent, the radio commentator again. Tony drives directly to station WBSC for his broadcast. Evening, folks. Wait till I tell you about Sir Bertram's murder and how the face managed to clean up the mystery inside of 2 hours. Let's see. The haunting figure of the face, scourge of the foes of justice, will thrill you every month in Big Shot Comics. All right, so we're
Yeah.
done with that story. Overall impressions, Metal.
Well, I wonder if anybody's ever told him that he has a face for radio.
Uh, oh boy. Anything more you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think the strongest part of this one was the art in general. I think the art was above average for this time period. Again, in considering the limitations of printers, how it manages to use the coloring, but also the detail in the inks itself. I would actually probably give this like an A for art. Um, the idea of the character is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he is functionally just a guy wearing a Halloween mask. The way that he uses it is beneficial. I could imagine a torture scene comedically where he's got like somebody on a chair in a dark room and he's giving him the silent treatment and they're just staring at this ugly face until they crack. So like conceptually, it's a cool character. The plot was pretty weak because it was just complete nonsense, right? The flow of it, like the actual things that happened in it were all right, but just the premise of the plot was complete nonsense. Not even just considering the technology of the time, but if you had technology of our time, the guy is still risking his entire like career and getting caught as a criminal to steal something that he could never get caught on. Like nobody's ever going to get him because of his eye print. He's not leaving eye prints anywhere. So like that kept taking me out of it kind of bit. I was laughing at it. So I would probably say like on average, even taking that around, maybe a C plus or a B minus as a comic.
Mm-hmm. Well, you'll have the chance, once we get through all the story, see, we're at hour 18, so might do one or two more stories here because I still have, of course, the This Day in Each History segment, as well as some other stuff, obviously. I just got to do something here real quick. All right, there we go. The Rumble page was kind of acting up a bit there, so that's why I had to go back and check that. But anyways, so we'll probably get it. Let's see, as I said, like 118 right now, 119.
Yeah, we could probably fit at least another one in there.
Yeah, because as I said, I want to try to get it around 148 this time. So, all right, so we'll get ready to move on then to the next story, which I believe will be Rocky Ride. Of course, there's the Bungle family. Look at the art there. John Kerry, District Attorney, which I was thinking about doing, but then the time frame. Face Stalks Crime, which is of course, a tech story.
Oh, you like a little pulp in there. I like that.
Yeah.
We need to bring the back to comics, having just like a little prose interjected in between things. Get people actually reading.
Charlie Chan. Chippy Jones. Here we go. Rocky Ryan. Rocky Ryan. Fleeing from Bhutanese bandits, Rocky Ryan and Fleurski across a deep chasm into a lovely valley filled with whistling flowers that produce sleep. Roy and Fleur slip um, into troubled slumber, as Rocky fights against his lethargy.
Okay, well, at least
Huh.
they already gave me a framework of the type of environment he's in by saying that we're in. I'm assuming we're in Bhutan if he's fleeing from Bhutanese people.
Yeah. Desperately, he tries to keep awake. This cotton from my kit. It may help. I'll stuff these cotton naps in my ears. It'll shut out the ghastly whistling. There. That's better. Hello, come here. Hello, here come a couple of men. Tough birds. They look too. Rocky speaks to the strangers in Hindu. Ram Ram, Sahib. Greeting, master. Hello. What do you fellows want? The monks of Mammon send for you. Monks, eh? Well, that's safe enough, I guess. Roy is sound asleep. Roy, come on, wake up. This cotton may help. I'll place some in Roy's ears and in Fleur's. The cotton wads, shutting off the whistle of the flowers, wake Roy and Fleur up. What happened? The flowers that whistle put us to sleep. Right. The flowers that whistle put us to sleep. Get a move on. We've got places to go. Where are we going? To see the monks of Mammon. No, you're joking. The, the monks, they are frightful. They kill all who enter their castle. I've heard tales. Just tales, that's all. I can't imagine monks being so terrible. But these aren't real monks. They're awful. In the castle of the monks of Mammon. What a medieval sort of place. How peaceful. I'm scared. Salam, sahibs. Shanti Huzur. Greetings and peace to you, master. This way, and I shall show you how we use the whistling flowers that did not affect you. Rocky was Was the bright one there? There he fixed. Shh, Roy. I should like very much to know why they didn't put you all to sleep. That's our secret, master, or mister. That is the most powerful acid in existence, made from distilled whistling flowers. I'd hate to fall in there. Don't talk like that, Rocky.
I mean, yeah, if it was not even, if it was like a mild acid, I'd still hate to fall in there.
Yeah. The seething acid vat. Gosh! The lean monk darts across the room. The
Like, white vinegar is a mild acid. I would hate to fall into a tub of white vinegar.
Wouldn't you think that? I would think that no matter if it's mild or severe, I would think that most acids have a tendency to burn, don't they?
Yeah, like you'd be ultimately fine as long as you like kept your eyes closed or whatever. But if you fell into a concentrated tub of like white vinegar, you'd still probably be coming out with some chemical burns if you were in there long enough. And anything stronger than that, you're starting to get to the point like that doesn't have to be the strongest acid in existence. I could think of like 5 or 6 acids that are weaker than that you probably won't be getting out of the tub from.
You think that those weaker acids might actually start dissolving skin?
Oh yeah, like you might actually start tearing the flesh up and stuff like that.
Ouch.
Yeah. They use it like it's usually used as a plot, but there's actual science behind it, where people will use certain types of chemical acids for industrial use to dispose of bodies, right? And you have to make sure that you put it in a certain plastic container because the acid doesn't react with the plastic container, but it's so strong that it would like eat through a ceramic tub or something like that.
All
I mean, you get it done with a concentrated hydrochloric acid.
Yeah. All right. So, anyways, as we continue on here with the story, and armed guards answer this call. Take him alive. Roy and Fleur put up a short but desperate struggle. Rocky, get him! Beast! With six gun blazing, Rocky Ryan storms to the rescue. Dirty swine! But a rifle stock brings him down. Yeah, instead of shooting him, he just conks him on the head with it.
Yeah, if it works.
Let's see. Into the moist dungeons, the adventurers are carried.
Oh, that's got to be uncomfortable in a damp, moist dungeon.
Hurry, Kishatriyas. Oh, my head. The guy that hit you sure clipped you one. And here we are prisoners. Were you about to say something, Metal?
No.
Guns gone, penned in a stone cell, helpless. What do you think they mean to do, Fleur? I can only guess. Through rumors leaking out of here. They tell of a strange monster that roams these passageways. Ah, Bucka, Fleur. He can't hurt us. That night, they prepare for slumber. I heard something, Rocky. Listen. Oh boy, you see how they're laying? How they're laying next to each other like that?
Oh yeah,
Isn't that? Isn't that a little suggestive?
I don't know. Maybe if there wasn't three of them. But I mean, hey, I don't know if you've ever had to fall asleep on a stone floor. It's hard to find a position where you're comfortable in. And you're not going to be comfortable in that position for too long. So I don't blame them for whatever position they're laying in.
Yeah, but I mean, she's lying on her back. Granted,
Yeah.
she's closed up, but I mean, you'd
And
almost
she's
get
got
the
her arm behind her head to keep her head off of the hard ground.
yeah. But I mean, some people could find that somewhat suggestive.
Maybe. Like I said, if it was just like two of them, maybe more. But I'm just considering like almost all of them are in some position where they're trying to not have their head directly on the hard ground, whether two of them are laying on a hand or arm, or the other one who actually has himself propped up so he could see and talk to both of them, but all of them are keeping their head off the ground. It is not very comfortable if your head on a solid stone surface. So I don't blame them for
And
their positions.
yeah, I guess I kind of get your point. And a sudden, like boom, boom, might
Yeah.
might hurt very much.
Oh yeah, yeah. And like your arm is pretty soft, right? Like your arm's gonna hurt, but between the two things, would you rather have your head on the softness of your skin and muscle, or and have your arm hurt, or would you rather your arm be kind of fine and your head be hurting?
Um. All right, so we continue on here. Let me just check and see what's going on here. And again, a friendly reminder to everybody, if you guys haven't already, you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream. So we get some more friendly people to engage. It'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. So, with that being said, of course, let's get back to the story here. Um, Above them are the sounds of gigantic feet walking. Something's there, all right. Gosh, he's coming here. Oh, he's coming after us. Get a grip on yourself, dear. The three gasp at the sight of their nocturnal visitor. He's pulling the bars out by sheer strength. Gosh, gosh!
It's supposed to be some type of homunculus.
Ever play football or rugby, Roy? When that thing gets in, you grab the left leg. Fleur, you run. Now go! Rocky and Roy leap for the grotesque giant. Good boy, Roy. Good boy, Roy. Fleur races for the corridor and safety. Oh, oh, oh. Keep going, Roy. Bet your sweet life I will. They run into a room of the acid vat. My rifle, guns. Now, let that monster come after us. Here goes. The bullet has no effect on the giant. I kill.
Man, that's a face that not even a grandmother could love.
So, which face do you find scarier? That one or the faces?
As in, I've seen Halloween masks that are worse than the Faces mask. Okay, this thing, if I saw its jaws in real life, I'd be like, that is one grotesque fiend. And it looks like in a single bite, he could probably take off my shoulder.
Uh, uh. Actually, if you think about it, the Face's mask, I think, looks kind of like a Halloween mask. Now that you mentioned the
Yeah, and
whole.
you know, it was probably extreme for the time, but that's like tame compared to the stuff you could get at Party City now.
Hmm. Yeah. All right. So let's see. Getting back to the story here. I'm going to try one more football trick, and if it fails, Lord help us. Rocky flings himself in a hard body block. Hit him right. The monster falls into the vat of deadly acid. Only an arm and hand tell of his passing. What a death, but it was him or us. Where now, Rocky? Anywhere as long as we get away from this place. Here are your 6 guns, Rocky. All we have to do is find a way to get onto that plane, then run like blazers. Don't miss the sequel to this stirring adventure of Rocky Ryan in next month's Big Shot Comics. Thrill to Rocky Ryan's worldwide adventures in every issue of Big Shot Comics. All right, so overall impressions, Metal.
I hmm. It was an all right romp. I feel hmm. I feel the weakest part of this story was the woman who was along with them. Right? Like she didn't feel like she added anything other than the fact that like we just need a woman there to be like maybe a counterbalance or a voice of like reason, but she didn't even really sound like a voice of reason.
Maybe somebody there to maybe counteract all the macho in the story or whatever.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh no, we should be scared of this place. And it's like, yeah, it was a worrying place. They were in trouble, but it's like she didn't really feel like she contributed much to the story at all, and was kind of like dragging the rest of it down. But the other characters were fine, and even the plot was pretty good too. So I feel like it's not that she shouldn't be there. This character should just be written completely different, so she adds more to the story.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, okay. So now so anything more you want to say specifically about this story before we move on to the two big
Not
questions?
particularly. I don't think this one's going to be very memorable for me, so I don't have much to say about it right now.
All right. All right. So here are of course, our last 2 questions on what we read tonight. So, of course, we read 3 features tonight, 3 stories tonight. So, of the 3, which one did you either like the best or made the best impression on you, and why?
I think the strongest of the 3 is probably the Sky Man. And I think, as far as storytelling goes, it's pretty straightforward, but it knew how to just have fun the entire time, which was pretty good. I got a very solid feeling of the identity of the Sky Man from just reading a single story of his, which I think is really good for getting attached to a story and a character in general. And
Especially if
nothing
you did.
felt out of place.
Would you say that's good because since maybe you didn't know about the Skyman beforehand, it kind of got you more into the story that way.
I don't know about that because I don't know if it made me want to read more Skyman, but I could definitely see why people who did read Skyman liked him, right? Like he's a character where you could see the appeal, even if he doesn't personally appeal to you. And I think overall, as far as like story identity and even the narrative flow, because I remember I was complimenting how the narration actually helped the story a lot. It was a strong story from start to finish.
Which probably explains why it was the headliner then too, right?
Yeah, probably.
All right, all right. So, anything more you want to say on that?
No.
All right. So now that we've talked about the best story or the story that made the best impression, now of course, in contrast with the two remaining stories that we read, which of those two made either did that you liked the least or made the least impression and your reasoning for that?
Honestly, I think it kind of just fell in order. I think this one, with Rocky Ryan, was the one that made the least impression, and it's like it was an all right comic. You know, if like I read it because I had this issue in front of me, I probably would have just read all the stories that were in it anyway. But it's not memorable. Like I will forget the story maybe even a few days after we read it. I'll remember the character, like Ryan himself, but like the story itself, I'm gonna forget.
Yeah. All right. So anything more you want to say on all that before we move on?
No, I think that that pretty much sums up my ideas in general. Like, I both of the previous stories to
Mm-hmm.
this one, I would probably put like in the, I'd probably put like an A for the first one,
Mm-hmm.
like a B minus for the second one, but then this one I might say is like just like your average C.
Hmm. All right. So basically, though, and you did already say that what you saw on that was basically it kind of went in order where the one that you liked the best was the first one, and then
Yeah.
just things just kind of like descended from there, basically.
Yeah, and I think really the biggest problem with the last one, if like I'm really gonna harp down on why it's not memorable, is that almost nobody in the story felt like they were doing any driving at all except for Rocky Ryan, which of course you want the main title character to be the one doing the most driving, right? But
When you say
what's
drive,
the
you mean driving the story, right? Or like,
yes, like actually pushing things along, keeping interest, all of that stuff. But what's the point of having other characters if they're not at least holding their own as supporting cast? And I don't even just mean the two people that were with him. I'm even talking about like the monster of the week or villain of the week situation, right? Where we've got like these two different problems. Where at first we've got these weird Bhutanese monks that aren't actually monks, right? But then like the monk disappears, and then we're just dealing with this monster that belongs to the monks, and it's just like there's not really anything strong in it except for the main character.
hmm. All right. Anything more you want to say before we move on then?
No, we can move on. I think that's it. That's sums up my thoughts very precisely.
Okay. Well, with that being said, now, and I did take notice of we do have some viewers on Rumble as well, so welcome. I hope you guys enjoyed the show up to this point. Um, if you are so inclined, please consider following me, and you can get more, of course, more needs more talk about anime, cartoons, comics, manga, and pro wrestling, both from modern times and from yesteryear. Um, with that being said, now, of course, what we're going to do to start wrapping up the show is today is, of course, Sunday, August 17th, 2025. So let's take a look back at this weekend in Nietzsche history. History! So let's see. 2005, 2005, 19. 75 there. 2020 and 2010. Alrighty then. So let me just. Is there anything? All right. All right. So first off, going back to yesterday, we're gonna head back 50 years ago yesterday. As on yesterday's date, 50 years ago, back in 1975. In 1975. The Crusher, Reggie Lisowski, and Dick the Bruiser of Phyllis defeated Nick Bockwinkel and Ray Stevens in Chicago to become the new AWA World Tag Team Champions. So on yesterday's date, 50 years ago, Crusher and Dick the Bruiser defeated Nick Bockwinkel and Ray Stevens to become the new AWA World Tag Team Champions. AWA, a promotion that was operated out of Minnesota and out throughout much of the Midwest, owned by late great Vern Gagne. So 50 years ago yesterday, Crusher and Dick the Bruiser defeated Nick Bockwinkel and Ray Stevens for the AWA World Tag Team Champions. So now we're going to move on to next piece of niche history here from yesterday. Let's double check something here. So on yesterday's date, back in the year 2010, 15 years ago yesterday, today, Prima Stea's OVA, Kutsuki Boshi, literally translated as Stars Intertwined, a two-part original OVA, original video animation, was released on yesterday's date 15 years ago. So written, directed, and entirely animated by freelance animator Naoya Ishikawa. The Prima Stea's OVA Kutsuki Bochi was released 15 years ago yesterday. So with that, we now get ready to move on to some of the stuff from today's date. On today's date here, let me see, 2005 and 2020. All right. So first off, going back to the year 2005, on this date, back in 2005, 20 years ago today, on this date 20 years ago today, the 810th issue of Detective Comics went on sale on this date back in 2005. It sold for $2.99, was 40 pages, had two stories in it: a Batman story, A Consequence of Truth, and then part 3 of the Beast Beneath storyline. So the 810th issue of Detective Comics went on sale on today's date 20 years ago. And finally, as soon as we, of course, grab that. Okay, on this date 5 years ago today, back in 2020. Back in 2020. Nickelodeon's Glitch Text completed its run on Netflix on this date 5 years ago today. So season two, the Nickelodeon Animation's Glitch Text finished its run on Netflix on this date 5 years ago. All right, so before we head out, we're finished now with everything on the night here. So before we leave, of course, I'm going to give Metal one last opportunity to promote anything he's doing this week, share any links. I think you know the shtick, right?
Well, I don't think I need to share the links because there hasn't been a lot of chat. You could probably still see the same ones, but like I said at the beginning of the show, you can find most of my works, my comics and web novels and stuff like that over at xdynamuschaos.com, which you can spend a few hours there just perusing things, having some fun. We'll get some more stuff on there soon enough. And you can catch me no less than twice a week over at the Vomitorium Live for Super Serial Showtime and Game Central Junction. And
Okay.
that's it.
All right. And if you can stick around for a couple minutes afterwards for, of course, post show, that would be appreciated. So with that, I thank everybody for being here. I thank both my YouTube subscribers as well as my Rumble viewers for joining us tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We'll be back here with, of course, more niche news tomorrow, more news from anime, cartoons, comics, manga, pro wrestling. So with that, I thank everybody for being here, and I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow. Bye.